Alanis Morissette skyrocketed to success with her album Jagged Little Pill back in the mid-90s.
You've already won me over, in spite of me, and don't be alarmed if I fall, head over feet.
A quarter of a century on, the hit songs have found a new life, this time on the musical stage.
I can't wait to share this experience of the Jagged Little Pill musical with you. It's our first foray outside of America and couldn't think of a more fun place to begin that journey.
The show was inspired by the iconic soundtrack and features many of the most popular songs, as well as a couple of new additions. The show isn't biographical. Instead, the songs help tell the story of the Healy family who live in the American state of Connecticut.
It started, slightly embarrassingly, in my shower. Because about 8 years ago, I was in my shower. The album came on my playlist. I was singing along to it, and suddenly I stopped and I went, "Oh my God, there is a narrative hidden in this album. There's a story about mothers and daughters and about sexual politics and about addiction in this album." I jumped out of the shower and I said to my then girlfriend, now wife, but at that point we'd been dating for about a week, I said, "Oh my God, Jagged Little Pill wants to be a Broadway show." And she looked at me and she went, "Do you work in musical theatre?" And I said, "No." She said, "Do you work in the music industry?" And I said, "No." She said, "Do you know anyone on Broadway?" We were living in London. I said, "No." She said, "Do you know Alanis Morissette?" I said, "No." And then I think she thought, okay, great, I've just started dating a fantasist. This is ridiculous. And then 7 years later, it was opening night in Boston. There were some steps in between.
Jagged Little Pill is the first production to play here at the newly refurbished Theatre Royal in Sydney. It will then head to Melbourne and Perth. After lots of uncertainty due to COVID, the cast and crew are very relieved to have finally made it to opening night.
This has been the craziest time in theatre ever, I think. I mean, first of all, being shut down entirely for 18 months, the whole industry, and then we were supposed to start in July and open September, and then that didn't happen, and then it has been a bit of a roller coaster.
So Nat, this is a pretty special venue for you, I'm told. Why is that?
I was here 23 years ago doing my debut performance in Rent, and yeah, here I am now doing my final performance. You can put that down.
I saw that performance of Rent when I was at high school.
Oh my God! Get out! We are becoming husband and wife. We play husband and wife in the show, but it's happening. He's not that much younger than me, like a tiny mini bit.
Tiny bit.
Like he's still.
It's a great segue. Who do you play in this show? Tell us about that dynamic.
He's going to be divorced very soon.
I play Steve Healy, husband to
Mary Jane Healy.
Like Mary Jane's line at the end, they're perfectly imperfect. And they're trying to make it work, and I think the commitment to their relationship is what kind of speaks volumes, I think. You know, the commitment to healing and to, you know, kind of coming together, and it's beautiful.
So, yeah, it's written so beautifully. Diablo Cody wrote the book, you know, won an Academy Award for Juno, Alanis Morissette, Grammy Award winning. Like, it's the combination, just, you can't get better than that.
Were you both big Alanis fans?
Alanis was the first album that I bought to kind of make myself look cooler. And I used to display it on the top so that anyone came into my bedroom, they would see that I listened to Alanis Morissette and not hit the Barbra Streisand CDs underneath.
I was the same age as Alanis, actually, so I felt like I was, you know, going through so much turmoil myself, and her songs really did speak to me. They made me feel like I could speak up. They made me feel like I could cry if I needed to. They made me feel like I could scream if I needed to. And as a young woman, that's empowering.
Maggie Mckenna, best known to Australian audiences for originating the lead role of Muriel in Muriel's Wedding the Musical, stars as Jo.
So the show obviously revolves around the Healys and their sort of Christmas letter, because they're the perfect suburban family in America. Perfect. But Jo is, Frankie's best friend, and has some stronger feelings for Frankie. Jo actually is gender non-conforming. To have so many non-binary people on this stage, trans and non-binary people, is pretty revolutionary, especially for Australian music theatre. I don't think we've had this kind of representation before. And yeah, to play a sort of gender non-conforming character is really cool, and a young person. We just don't see that. We don't see that in commercial theatre much ever. So to have sort of young people come and see the show and be deeply moved by this role it's an honour to play it.
The show explores some really complex and at times dark themes. What are some of the most important issues in this show?
One of the major topics of the show is sexual assault. And I haven't seen a musical cover it, and not in the way this show does. And it's incredibly healing and powerful, the way the show deals with it. So I think that is the most important topic, yeah.
Maggie belts out the show-stopping number You Ought to Know and is already receiving standing ovations mid-show.
It is unreal singing You Ought to Know. It just, I can't express how it feels every night to just feel the audience get on board and like be a part of the song with you. Like when we were rehearsing it, I didn't realize how much they're actually a part of the song. They make the song happen. Yeah, it's just surreal.
For Liam Head and Emily Nkomo, who play brother and sister in the show, being part of Jagged Little Pill is particularly exciting.
I think for both of us, this is our first professional musical theatre debut, which is really exciting. We are mere hours away from going on stage for opening night, so yeah, it's pretty cool just being in the rehearsal room, working with people like Natalie, Bassingthwaighte and Draxl, Mckenna, the whole creative team. Having people like the original creators from the US come over, has been really exciting. So yeah, forever this production will be very special.
Emily, what is it that you love about this show?
I love the storyline. The storyline is amazing. It will touch everyone in whatever way. There's something for everyone in this show. Even though you might go in being like, oh, will I relate? You will. You will. And obviously the music, Alanis' music, yeah, you're going to be singing along and dancing along, and it like you really feel it.
My favourite part about this whole show, this whole experience, comes down to the conversations that I've been opening up. People are coming to watch the show, they're ingesting it, where as artists we're on stage giving them conversation starters and making them have to think about these crucial parts of 2021 and the life in which we live right now. And this is definitely the next era of musical theatre, is this show, Jagged Little Pill. It's very exciting.